if you don't mind, we should wash the wok after every dish because we believe the flavor still there. If you don't mind, you just because I don't, because I'm a little bit lazy. Every time you need to do that, the part I hate the most is wash that is very easy. You have to dry. You have to use the paper to dry it every time. Otherwise, because every time you put the oil there, the oil will meet the water, then like that. But it's still clean because everything here is still food. Then one of the secrets for Chinese cuisine is when you don't put any oil, make the wok, put the oven, the heat at the highest one. Okay. Make sure the wok is warmed enough. Then when you see a little bit of the smoke there, put the cold oil there. Oh, okay. So at the time, the oil will be heated immediately. So you can see a little bit the smoke. Don't wait. If you wait, it will be overcooked. Then put a little bit. Then a lot of people ask me how much usually, because you can see the bottom here, half of the bottom. And the food you had in the Chinese restaurant are usually very greasy. The Chinese, it's not our authentic food at all. Right. So we don't. Very few food in Chinese cuisine has a deep fried. But the reason they put the greasy food is first the greasy food, the more oil is supposed to be tasted better, a little bit better. Second is the oil can keep the food longer. Yeah, and at that time, don't make it so high because the wok has already been heated very high, and put just the cold oil there. And you can just like shake this a little bit to make sure the whole wok is covered by oil. Okay, this is a normal step, the beginning step for almost the most of Chinese cuisines. But for eggs, this is one exception. Because for the eggs, you want the eggs to taste better. For the eggs dish, you need to put it a little bit higher to make sure that when the egg meets the oil, it will be expand. Oh. You know, yes, immediately. So when you put out, so you can see that. What do you call it? Like this, the bubble thing.
Oh, it's cooked immediately, I guess.
Yes. Oh, you have to make sure the egg.
So the oil doesn't get into it.
Yes. But if you make very, very low heat, you will never see this.
Okay.
But when you see this, you have to make sure one thing, the bottom, it's so easy for the bottom overcook at that time. After you see the flour, the egg flour, a little bit lower. Just to make sure the bottom is not overcooked. Then destroy that.
Break it up.
Break it up, yeah. If you don't put the heat pretty high, the eggs will never be like this high. This is for any egg dish, you should like this. Then you put the eggs. Don't wait a long time because you can feel the eggs can eat the oil a lot very quickly. If you put that here a lot, the eggs will be overcooked. this, you don't need to wait because it has already been warmed. Still a little, only half at the bottom.
Okay. And do you always use vegetable oil?
Yeah. If you cook the pork dish, put even little, because we use pork their own oil.
Right.
But every step you have to put a little bit of oil. Every time when you see the smoke, that means the heat is too high.
Oh, okay.
The reason of this smoke is the water, the juice. Yeah, is and at the time it's not the high, it's the middle.
Okay.
And just keep stirring. You even can use this to press, try to make the juice out a little bit. Now when you see almost there's no smoke there, you can put a little bit higher. The reason is put a higher is we want to make it faster.
Right.
But I never put it at the highest one, so. And when you see most of the vegetables, tomatoes juice out, and you can see the tomato is soft enough, put this into
Oh,
the wok mix that. So there's no time limit how many minutes you should, just because it depends on how many tomatoes you put there.
right.
So that is why I like the ripe tomato, because for the ripe tomato, it's so easy for the juice out.
And traditionally, this is like a dinner time meal, right? This wouldn't be eaten in the morning.
Oh, never in the morning, because it will take a long time to cook.
Ah,
Yeah, usually it's dinner time, but also could be lunch. But actually, this I want you to see clearly. Usually I always put it like this, make it faster.
oh,
But when we are just learning, you make the heat a little bit lower. Because if you move too high, it's so easy for overcooked.
right.
Everything will stick on that. So right now you can tell most of the juice is already out. You even don't need to press that. Now at this time, pull this with it together. That's the X absorb the juice.
Interesting that you like this, you know, the tomato thing.
I like tomato. And when I had this in China, I guess I liked it a lot because it was the most sort of like American.
Really?
Yeah. You know, because eggs, tomatoes, it was sort of familiar ingredients. Because a lot of what I ate, I had no idea really what was in it.
This one's pretty healthy, this dish. If you like tomato. And for this part, you don't need to worry it will be overcooked because the juice still out, still is keep out of it here. And short. When you're thinking you're almost done, then put seasonings. Don't put a lot of salt because if you put too much, it's hard for you to fix that. But if you put less, it's easier for you to fix that. Sugar. A lot of Americans like the sweet food. If you like sweet, you can put a little bit more sugar. Either you can use this one or use chicken powder.
Chicken powder.
Chicken powder, this one. The reason I don't use this one is because this will change the color of this dish. This will not. It's totally same function.
Oh.
So use a little bit of chicken powder. But if you use chicken powder, always put at the last step.
Okay.
Just a little bit. I will taste it again to see whether it's salty enough. I think it's salty enough. At this time, I don't think it's. You can turn off this, but the last step is green onion. We planted the green onion here, but you can find it a little bit. It really doesn't matter how much. It's a kind of like a match with the color. This is the last step. I think I should put a little bit more there, just to mix the green one, red one, yellow one, and the green one. It's just for the color. Patrick,
Sure.
do you want something to drink?
Oh, no, thank you.
And if you see the wok is a little bit like this, you can just wash. And wash is pretty easy. Just use cold water. cooking?
No, I'm alright, dude. Get something when we get ready to eat.
You must be hungry. Are you hungry?
We had a late breakfast, but I'm okay. Y'all are probably hungry, waiting for us.
Nah, we're good. We had a snack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually you don't need to use this, the soap,
Okay.
because you will continue to use this. If it's a last dish, you can use the soap. Then you're supposed to use the paper to dry that, but I'm lazy, so I just use the heat to dry that, so I make it pretty low.
And is that cast iron or?
Yeah, that's cast iron. We found a wok shop online in San Francisco that's been making woks for over 100 years, so I figured that should be a pretty good reputation point for them.
Yeah, and the next dish is onion. Oh, I can just expand this to you. It's onion and pork and hard tofu. We have a lot of different kinds of tofu. Today we will have this tofu. This tofu is soft one, very soft. It's kind of like a soup. When you put it into your mouth, it will be just melting. But this one is hard. So they're all tofu. This one looks like, I sliced this. This one looks like I frozen it. It's supposed to be the white. Just like the base. We have two pack here. Then you just slice it. And it really doesn't matter how you slice the hard tofu. It's very easy for you to slice that. Doesn't matter what kind of shape. Just slice them. And one onion, because I like onion. If you don't like the onion, you can put a small one. And Patrick,
Yes.
could you help me to cut the onion? The reason I don't want to cut onion is it's make you cry
Yes.
when you cut that.
Okay. So you want me to cut the whole onion?
Yes.
I can use it
But
for
you
my-
need, yes, you can use this, but you need to take the skin out.
So yeah, that's fine. Do it like that.
Okay. And the best part of the dish is the pork. The pork here is only 0.3 pound here. So because we only need the flavor of the pork. You slice that. I did all the meat. Usually you need to do one night earlier. You slice that, then mix it with this. All a little bit. This ginger is this. Then you slice that, and then you just chop it as small as you can. Green onion, like what I did. This, a little bit of salt.
You know, slice is pretty well.
Not pretty white.
Like thin, very thin.
Yes, like this. Yeah, just like, yeah,
Like that.
yeah. Give it a try this. And this is wine, Chinese cooking wine.
Ah, okay.
It's Chinese cooking wine. The reason we need this is for every meat we use the wine to get rid of that smell.
Okay.
This can get the smell very quickly. It's pretty good. Also a little bit, because all these are seasonings. And put here, then you mix them together. You can use your hand as long as your hand is clean. Or you can put a glove there to mix them. Put them into, cover that, put them into refrigerator one night to make sure all the flavors inside of the pork.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is, usually we do that one night, or you can make sure 8 hours is the best. Yeah, and then like this. Then for the onion part, it really doesn't matter how you will slice that. If it really matters, I will never ask him to do that, because it doesn't matter. So you can just see how it is.
Nice.
Makes you feel.
Because it doesn't matter, when you put that into the wok, everything will just be separate. I needed the slice. every dish, if you have the meat, always meat go first.
Okay.
Always meat go first. Then it's the same. Let the wok warm enough.
Does the place where you bought the wok have like a brick and mortar store?
It was some online website.
No, this is a little bit too much. Yours is only half, especially for the pork, because pork has the, its own oil there.
You had to pay a little bit extra to get the one for the electric stove tops. Apparently everybody likes gas stove tops whenever you're doing cooking. And see, even like they try to discourage you from buying like a wok if you only have electric one.
Really?
Yeah.
Let the oil heat enough.
Do they say why, or is it just?
I think it's for better heat distribution on the pan. It's better for gas.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I think in general anyway.
This message paid for by the Piedmont Natural Gas Foundation.
See, here's, I think the oil is a little bit too much.